first round pick. Hey, throw that list away, all right?
Why are we around? Let's
Yo, welcome to the show. It's a Chiefs Blitz night. Breaking down the plays, keeping everything tight. From Mahomes to the defense, we give you the scoop. Real talk, real stats, we the ultimate troop. This ain't no game, it's our passion on display.
The baby himself.
Chiefs Blitz podcast, real fans unite. Every touchdown scored, we ignite the night. From tailgate chatter to post-game debate, we love our Chiefs, yes, never too late.
I would even bring MBS back in the middle of the season.
Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to the Four Guys in a Bar, sponsored by ChiefsBlitz.com, presented by UnderdogFantasy.com. Here's your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hense Todd.
Alrighty. Welcome to the next edition of Four Guys in a Bar, presented by ChiefsBlitz.com, your top source for Chiefs news. I am your host, Nick Athan, along with Mr. Hense Todd, Mr. Lou Montagna, and of course the coach, Andre Tillman. All right, cut it out, Weston. We're not doing In the Arms of an Angel today. Sorry. I told you I want some earth, wind, and fire.
Weston will just not give it up.
He's not going to give it up.
Yeah, man. E, W, and F, baby. That's all. That's what I want to hear.
Could you imagine going to Weston's house? And I don't know if people still have like albums in the shelf.
I have some. I have a whole I have 2 boxes.
Could you imagine what Weston's playlist if this is what he's looking for?
Hey, Western just like the cool style, and I'm with you, sir.
I'm all for it.
I'm all
for it, man. It's a signature jam, man. You know what I'm saying? It's part of what it is.
It really just hurts my ears.
It's no. If you've seen the movie, it's a really good movie, and the song is very poignant in the movie, and it does tug at your emotions a little bit. But I told you, I got to have some Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Potentially our unique version of it might be.
Yes, we have to do unique versions here for copyright purposes, so we have to be very careful.
So Western liked it because it was the most funniest moment of the draft show, man.
It was pretty funny.
It was funny. Nick was sitting there waiting for David Neal to get drafted. He got so sad and emotional at the moment.
I think we did pretty good with Bernard Smith, Rashawn Smith, so we're good.
So with that said, guys, let's get into our sponsor.
Baseball is back.
That's right. Baseball is back on Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you cash in today. You can play the pick'em game. It's very similar to what you did with the NFL. We're doing the Chiefs stuff. Now it's all about baseball, and especially the Royals. You can go higher or lower. It's really simple to use. Their app is amazing. You just choose your entry fee. You decide what you want to play, and you just see the winnings coming if you know what you're doing. So take a swing today and make sure that you sign up for Underdog Fantasy, and they're going to give you a meatball right off the gamut, Bobby Wood Jr. special. So start with a W for your first entry and new customers. Make sure you use the code Chiefs Blitz.
That's right, Underdog Fantasy. Go to underdog.com. Hey, if you want to be help out the guys at the Four Guys in a Bar podcast, the Chiefs Blitz show. Hey, real simple. Just do the QR code there to snap a picture with the camera. It automatically takes you to the setup page. Put in the promo code Chiefs Blitz. Deposit $5. That's it, $5, and you get 50. So I'll tell you what, we're going to offer a little special today for those listening. If you deposit that $5, you will get something worth $5 or more for the remainder of this month from my collectible mess of stuff, and I guarantee it'll be worth more than the $5 you invest. So all you got to do, go to Underdog, scan it, put in the code Chiefs Blitz, shoot us an email, let us know that your $5 has been deposited, and we're going to send you a very special gift from my collection of cards that we'll send to you free of charge.
You can't beat that. Come on now, guys. Get
see how many we can get for the rest of the month.
Make a couple of picks.
Yeah,
you got NBA playoffs to deal with. You got the entire baseball season going on. I think you might have some golf in there as well. So don't have to bet a ton. $5. Play $5, then you get 50 bonus. So let's go. And something from Nick. My goodness.
Can't beat that. I have way too many cards, so I'm happy to get rid of some.
Before we get deep down into the show, I'm gonna give a shout out, or let Dre go ahead and give a shout out.
Oh well, man, I appreciate you, buddy. My son just graduated yesterday from Hogan Prep. Graduated.
All right.
18 years old. Happy,
Hey.
man. My son has shot up. He's about 6'2". It
He looks like a big boy, man. You look like a shrimp around him.
Man, I
Man,
do,
he's
man.
tall.
My son like 6'2", man. I was like, damn. I wish I
Where'd
wish
that
I
come
had that
from?
height. I don't know where the hell that came from. He told me, and I told me one day, and he said to Daddy, I told myself every day I'm gonna get taller. I said, what the hell?
His grandpa pretty tall, ain't it? Yeah,
His grandpa tall, man, but his grandpa like, well, on my side, my father is short, so he's like 5'7", 5'8". You know what I'm saying? But his mama's side, about 6'1", 6'2".
So the young man that graduated, what was his name?
Ronell.
Little Dre.
Yeah, little Dre.
Are there others?
Yeah, my young one named Zion. My little one is Zion.
Okay,
Zion,
how old is he?
13.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're only a few years.
Two down, one to go.
There. Yeah.
Two down, one to go,
man. Yeah, man. But appreciate it though.
Congrats. Yeah, my son graduated from 2nd grade today. So hey,
hell yeah,
on to 3rd grade.
Oh,
I'm gonna see it. I get another day around the sun. It's pretty great.
You goddamn right, dude.
So with that said, what you have for today for Chiefs? Ooh,
oh boy, here we go.
Start of the show.
It's Wednesday, folks, and you know what that means. Another round of Chief Who, and you will be. I guarantee that the best damn game on YouTube, and you all are tuned in. Get to play with the panel here, the learned Kansas City Chief fan panel here at Four Guys in a Bar. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to read a series of concocted clues that will lead you to a particular chief. So here we go. As always, we start out, and everybody's favorite clue, I know it's Nick's. This chief was a 3-star recruit, and I add a little piece to it, was the 11th best player at his position that year coming out of high school. So there's your first clue.
Nice addition.
Clue number 2. He switched positions his freshman year in college and started every game that year as a freshman.
Get the drone, Drake.
Oh man, that's
All right, Nick's already got a guess.
Oh, do I get to do it?
Sure,
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Travis Kelce.
It is not Travis Kelce. Hey, was that picture Photoshop that you were sending around, Hensley?
Which one?
That didn't look like his body, right? It looked like
That was Travis Kelce.
Man, I don't know.
I don't think that
man.
was.
I mean,
I ain't buying it.
he may have lost weight, but
He lost more weight than what's shown in that picture. Has to be like 5 years old.
All right, clue number 3. This gentleman, this chief, was first team all-conference in 2 different conferences during his college career.
Weston says Gardner Minshew.
Nice guess. It is not.
Jovan
Belcher. Okay,
Belcher.
Broncos tube. I don't know. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. This is somebody on the current Chiefs roster. We're not going to troll with some sadness from our
we don't need that. We don't need to revisit that.
But anyway, that's just to give you the benefit of the doubt. It is a current Chief. The final clue is forks and swords. Forks and swords.
I would have to go with
Sure, Hensley, give us a guess.
Mr. Parking Lot himself.
Omar Norman Lott. Hensley. It is not Omar.
I thought you were gonna reward him.
Hey, he got him. He got him with that one. That was a good one.
So here we go. We'll run him down real quick one more time. So this chief, 3-star recruit, was the 11th best at his position coming out of high school. In his freshman year, he switched positions and started as a freshman every game that season. He has been first team all-conference in 2 different conferences during his career. And the final clue, forks and swords.
Forks and swords, so that means Dungeons and Dragons.
Ruben says Lou. I don't know if that's just kind of a dude. It's not me, right?
All right, give us one more clue.
Well, I wish I had one, Nick. That's all I came up with.
I wish I had one, but damn it, Nick, there it is.
I'll go with.
All right, one more time around the horn. No pun intended. Hensley.
I would have to go with Mr. Williams, 3rd round draft pick.
Noel Williams.
Noel Williams. Yeah.
Hensley, come on, man. It is not Noel Williams.
Oh.
All right, I'm gonna say Patrick Mahomes.
I'm gonna say Drew Tranquil.
Okay, it's none of those guys. So we'll throw it out to the crew. Going once, going twice, going thrice. We're not sold. It is your guy and mine, Mr. Eddie Chaplitsky, punter from USC and Arizona State. Yes, he switched positions from kicker to punter and started every game at Arizona State. His freshman year was first team all conference, Big Ten this past year, Pac-12 and 22. Forks and swords. Arizona State obviously forks up, pitchfork and the mascot, and of course the Trojan always stuffs the sword at midfield.
All right.
So there you have it.
I figured it,
folks. Punter Eddie Chaplitsky. He's going to have every opportunity to make this team. No disrespect to the punt god Matt Ariza, but this kid's a baller, and he can place kick as well. So he can be a backup kicker as well as Ariza. So the Chiefs are looking for a type. Thank you for playing. That again has been Chief Who, brought to you by our friends at Underdog Fantasy Sports. Play now. Use the promo code Chiefs Blitz. Deposit $5. Play that $5 and get 50 in bonus selections.
Underdog, baby.
That's that simple. Plus, we're going to give away one of my sports cards with a value of greater than 5. So all you got to do is let us know in the chat or send us an instant message or email stating that you have done the registration, and we will send that off to you, and we wish you luck. It's a fun game to play. All right, guys, we got some news around the league and the Chiefs, right? Hence,
yes, we do.
Roll, baby.
We're gonna be. Let me give me a minute,
man. I missed him.
It's not no breaking news.
I know, but we kind of feel. I kind of feel bad. He's been sidelined for like a couple of months.
Never a slow day in the NFL.
Never a slow day.
Something going on.
Never a slow day. All right, this is going to be one of our topics, but just really quickly, Adam Teicher was on 810 Sports Radio, and he's indicated Josh Simmons is if he's okay, he will be the Chiefs' starting left tackle to begin the season, and Jalen Moore would be Plan B. We'll get into this a little bit more depth. Obviously, it depends on the recovery of his knee, but that made a lot of people talk yesterday. What are they going to do with him and Jalen Moore? And again, we'll get into that here in a minute, but let's get on with the rest of the news.
What's the news? Go ahead. I don't know. I don't see it.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, usually we have 2 or 3 of these up here, so I was just thinking. I guess we could get right into the main topic of the show. I mean, I'm fine with that too.
Where's the boss, baby?
I don't know.
That's the news.
I didn't see no news in here, Nick. So go ahead and give it to me.
No, I mean, these are all going to be topics of the day. I mean, the NFL owners meeting was yesterday.
Okay.
And or today, and they made some news. We'll go over all that here, but obviously, the Josh Simmons thing's pretty interesting, and he's kind of the main topic of the show here today, because, we all were very happy when Jalen Moore signed, and we were all very happy when the Chiefs got, Justin Simmons in the first round. And, the question begs, can he be ready? Is he going to be the starter? Adam's got pretty good sources in the building. I've heard that he's way ahead of schedule, and I'm talking months ahead of schedule. So that must tell me that the tear was not as bad as people had initially reported. So I think that's good news that he's able to get out there and show his wills. And I think there's a chance by training camp he could be fully medically cleared to practice. And assuming he's the left tackle, where does Jalen Moore go?
Well,
he's
that's a great question. He's
going to start.
Right? So first thing you look at, how much did they pay him? They didn't pay him like starting left tackle money, right?
$20 million guaranteed.
Say that again.
$20 million guaranteed.
Right, but if you're like a top end left tackle, you're getting well over $20 million AP, where you're getting a 5-year contract, whatever. They gave him a 2-year contract, and I would imagine they could probably shift him to a different position. I don't know that Kingsley is like in stone the left guard. Hell, I don't know if Jawan Taylor is in his name's in stone at right tackle. So it'll be interesting. We've had this conversation throughout the offseason about playing the best 5, and we'll see. I mean, this could be a very fluid situation, or I just feel like they are going to kind of let the players sort it out, right? And Josh, if he's going to get every opportunity to get that starting position, and if they feel like he's ready to go health-wise, first-round pick, he's got all the attributes, let's get him out there. And then Jalen Moore will do whatever feels best. I mean, is he going to play left guard? Is he just going to be a backup, be like the swing tackle in case somebody gets hurt? He can plug in any other position. But that would be a good problem to have, right? It's just that, hey, we paid him. It's not like, again, it's not a ton of money. It's a short-term deal. So this would be great news for me. Is if Josh Simmons is ready to go day one at the left tackle spot, that would be excellent. And then whatever Jalen Moore does, hey, put him wherever you need him.
Man, I would love it, man. Like I told you before the show, man, put him in there. He's your first round guy. He's a stud. Put him in there. Put him in there. Throw him in there, man. You know, like I said, more like he's decent. You know, more he got some experience with the West Coast offense over there in San Fran with Shanahan. But nah, man, put him in there. I want to see him. Put him in there, man. He's like I said, he got so much potential to dominate that position. You know what I'm saying? You know, being a rookie, you're gonna have a little bit of ups and downs being a rookie, but you a high first round guy.
Right.
They sold on you. I'm sold on you. Go ahead, put him in there, man, because his body of work speaks for itself. Hell yeah, put him in there. I want him to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't like I can't believe the kingdom is up for, or if it's some Chiefs fans, if they are Chiefs fans, people can make any kind of account and say they Chiefs fans or commenting on stuff. But again, it's a tweet of ours that's going viral right now, and a lot of Chiefs fans are 50-50, man. And then some of them say, hey, why the heck you pay Jalen Moore all this money and not going to start him at left tackle again? Did you not watch the Super Bowl? Did not watch the game?
Did you watch Kingsley Suamataia and Wanya Morris play
all last year? And you want like Lou said, you want the best guy. If he's healthy, put him out there. He's your left tackle. If the guy's ready to go, he is ready to go, man. Hey, I'm not too much up in arms about it. Hey, if the guy's ready to go, put him out there. Let him be your best starting 5. If Jalen Moore got to go in and at guard, hey, that's good guard money right there. You know what I mean? That is not like left. They didn't like pay him big time left tackle money. Right. If you have to look at it, this is like it's one of the lowest contracts for a left tackle. But again, if he's healthy to go, put Jalen Moore right at left guard, and hey, you put the best 5 out there and let them ball out. Kingsley come out on still learns on rotation, still learns, and he be your starting right tackle if they do cut Jawan Taylor next year. He'll be your starting right tackle next year. Then there go your starting 5 right there. Everybody's young across the board. Everybody get to know each other and get to play hard. So if he's healthy, let him rock.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is Jalen Moore's audition. Can he play left guard? If he can, kudos. Great offensive line. If he takes over for Taylor at right tackle, I'm fine with that too. I mean, Andy Reid's made it clear you play the best 5. Now, Here's the thing: if you're Brett Veach, I don't think Brett gives a darn about the money he spent, either with Taylor's $28 million that he's due, or $26 million this year, or the money that he's going to have to pay his prize left tackle that he signed in free agency and more. I don't think he cares about that money because that money's already spent. It already counts. At some point, the Trey Smith deal will get announced here. I'm assuming end of the month or before they break for minicamp, mandatory minicamp in the middle of June. I think that deal is going to get done. So that's going to relieve them. So I don't think he cares. And nor do I think Andy Reid cares. Nor do I think Patrick Mahomes cares. Give me the 5 best guys. And if Josh Simmons is really that far ahead of schedule, and remember, he did do drills in minicamp, not all of them, just a few of them, but at least he showed some movement, some side-to-side movement, some back-and-forth movement. He didn't just sit there and watch. He actually participated in some of the drills. So obviously we'll see more when you get into the OTAs, which begin, or phase 2 is next week. And then the following week will be phase 3. And then they'll have a mandatory minicamp before they take their break for training camp in July in St. Joe, Missouri. So for me, the best 5 goes. So it's not going to be a money issue. And I think that's why the fans are upset. Well, they're not using that money for anything else. The only thing the Chiefs are going to spend money that's not on this roster is that they can get a veteran safety. Simmons is out there. I think he'd be a perfect fit for the Chiefs, but he wants a big boatload of cash. He got $8 million from the Falcons last year, and don't read anything that he doesn't want to play for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs because he hated him when he played in Denver. It's a bunch of BS.
Oh, that's absolutely a thing, Nick.
Yeah, he wants a ring. No. He wants a ring. I don't care what he said. He wants a ring, and this is his best chance. So all that aside, when it comes to the offensive line, the Chiefs will have invested a significant amount of their salary cap into that offensive line this year. Creed Humphreys, top center paid. Simmons is getting a massive deal as a rookie deal. Taylor, we've already documented his deal. Trey Smith,
the rookie deal is the biggest bargain.
Yeah, well, it's a bargain, but it's still a cap. It still is a cap
stealing.
Yeah, so it's still $3.5-4 million in the cap. So listen, for me, you play the best 5. I think the Chiefs were very surprised that Simmons fell. They were smart to go after Jalen Moore. This was the guy that they targeted as the future left tackle for the Chiefs. And when you get a chance to increase the depth of your offensive line and you get a stud and a steal, as Lou said, you take it. And so I think they were surprised. They were hopeful. And there was a lot of maneuvering, a couple of days before the draft, and a lot of information that came out about his leg. And, we all learned it was a bunch of BS. So I think for me, you put, Simmons at left tackle, you put Jalen Moore at left guard, and Kingsley gets more time to learn. You got Wanya Morris, who can be the backup tackle in a pinch, and of course Kingsley can do it. Or they put Moore at right tackle, and the concern about Jawan Taylor's knee is maybe it's bigger. Now he did have some offseason surgery, so hopefully he'll be good to go. But when you've got potentially 6 or 7 starters on your offensive line, and I'm not saying all of them are good starters, but when you got 6 or 7, Andy's going to put the best 5 forward.
Well, you got to have somebody that could come in and play tackle in case somebody gets hurt, right? I mean, you're going to have a backup. Now, that wasn't the intention when they got Jalen Moore, but by the same token, they didn't overpay for that. So for that position, if you count him as just kind of like you want to make it the swing tackle, meaning that he can come in and play either right or left in a pinch. And also start until Simmons is ready. If that's the case, if he needs more time, then that's money well spent. I mean, that's just part of team building. Not everybody is going to be, a full-time starter. And if you can have this guy at that price to be that insurance policy, that's a great problem to have. And it's money well spent. That they weren't going to go out somewhere else and get your favorite veteran wide receiver that you think is going to make this a better team.
All right, let's go. Yeah. Let's go with a couple of comments here real quick. Ikoe, thank you so much for joining the show again. I think Simmons should stay put until he's fully healthy. He should not be rushed in.
Yeah, the Chiefs are pretty conservative.
Yeah, the Chiefs
they're not going to rush anybody.
Yeah, they're not going to. I think they're behind the scenes extremely excited about the opportunity and the potential. The knee issue is going to be something we're going to watch. Obviously, protect Pat, plain and simple. Ruben says, got a new person, William Tombrick. Hey, all. Welcome. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Welcome to the bar, man.
Welcome to the bar. Yeah, awesome. Love having new subscribers, and appreciate that as well very much, William. So I think this topic's going to play out.
Just start him, man.
Everybody knows he's got knee issues, so
he just got high potential. Like all these players coming out the draft got a little banged up, man. But if you see how the potential, how strong this man is at that position, you start him.
Yeah,
you don't waste that. You throw him in the jungle. You throw him in there. You start him, man. You want to see who is this guy. Remember, he's not playing quarterback. You know what I'm saying? He's not playing a position to where you have to think all the damn time to break down defenses. Right. You just going against defensive ends. You going against ends. You controlling the blitzer. Like, yeah, throw him in there, man. I just throw the guy in there, man. Let him have some fun, man. Because it's not a lot of thinking at that position. You just go in there, put your hands on guys.
That's not true. There's a lot of thinking that goes in that position.
Hey, my job
that may be the most disrespectful thing you've said. I mean, it might.
Listen, put your hands on him. Move out the way. Put your hands on him.
There you go.
Think about it, though. A lot of guys that position, man, don't put they scared to put their hands on these guys. Put your hands on them. Control the line of scrimmage, and you'll be okay.
Man, come on, man. Hey, it is a lot of thinking.
Thanks for subscribing, William. We appreciate that.
You got some offensive linemen that can read the defense better than the quarterback, right? You got some of the centers that can read the defense and tell you what defense they in and can relay the play into the quarterback. But I'm talking
about left tackle. I'm talking about the left tackle position.
No, you got to be very smart to play offensive line. I don't care what position
it doesn't go unnoticed, except for coach. That some of the smartest guys on the field play offensive line.
Yeah,
they scared though. A lot of these guys are scared to put their hands on each other.
Smart.
And then the other part is they're not going to be nearly as athletic as the guys that they are blocking, and somehow they get it done. So that comes from not just having some physical strength, but also technique and kind of understanding how these guys rush and so forth. So,
but I would play tackle, man.
Every offensive lineman's ears are burning right now. Here goes. But you really don't have to think that.
Dre, your job is to put hands on these guys. But I'm gonna tackle Dre. Keep that man from Patrick Mahomes. That's my job. Bam, my hands on him. Sir. He's not touching Mahomes. That's what I'm saying. You're not overly thinking or trying to break down. Oh my God!
What did the barber say, Hensley? What did the barber say? Next.
Yeah, I think they've just taken your drink away from you, buddy.
Don't worry about it. We'll see.
Go ahead and get into this.
Again, William, appreciate you subscribing. Don't rush him. As far as Simmons goes, just need everyone to be healthy and in sync by the playoffs. That's right. The Chiefs have a very daunting regular season schedule. We kind of broke that down a week ago. It's going to be very difficult. Good news is a lot of the great teams that they play this year are at home. But you're right. This is all about being better in the postseason, trying to get that bye week, giving your body some extra rest. The Chiefs have proven if they don't have the bye week, they can still win the Super Bowl and get through the playoffs, even when they have to go on the road. So it's going to be exciting. But you're right. The season isn't very forgiving. There aren't a whole lot of forgiving games in the first 9. I think there's only one. Maybe the Colts game is the lone exception of teams that aren't tough or tough enough to give the Chiefs a lot of problems, but get them healthy, get them ready. But I can just share with you from what I'm hearing that they are very excited about the opportunity and potential for him to play NFL caliber football sooner rather than later.
And speaking of smart offensive linemen, I think this was Nick was trying to get to it earlier in the show. Do you care about the tush push? That it did get banned is still out there. The Eagles still have that kind of play that no one can stop. Do you guys really care?
Hell yeah, I care about it. Shit, stop it. Because you ban that means the league is too soft. That means they soft. You ban that. You ban the Eagles' strength. What does that tell the rest of the teams, man? Right?
Well, 31 other teams can do it.
It's like a high-power quarterback sneak.
Quick time out. Stop it. Go back to the beginning when Hense said they didn't ban it. It's safe
legal
for another year. So
God damn it,
if that impacts your analysis, go ahead.
Hell yeah, dude. Lou, I was excited. Don't ban that shit. Don't ban my language. Don't ban it.
They did.
Don't ban it. I'm glad they didn't. Breaking news, they didn't ban it. I'm glad they didn't because they'll make the NFL look soft. They'll make them look soft. Like, okay, we took away the Eagles' strength. okay, now we can finally beat the Eagles now. Like, man.
I think most importantly, I don't think it would really either way. I don't think it was going to change how the Eagles approach their quarterback sneaks. The pushing part of it, I don't think was a huge part of their particular play. I think when they kind of rewrote the proposal, what they wanted to do, and I don't know if it was so much about the tush push, because that on one level, I think they just wanted to get rid of it because of the way it looked. Right. And then that whole thing in the championship game with Frankie Louvu diving over the top like 6 times in a row, and the refs basically saying, you do that again, we're just going to give them the touchdown. But they wanted to get out the part where you see it. And this is what I was in favor of, is when you see a guy downfield running and there's a couple guys making the tackle, and then out of the blue, like 8 linemen come just flying in and kind of carry the ball carrier further downfield, which was a rule up until I think 2005, when they said, well, we never call it, so let's just take it out of the game to begin with, just it's over and done with. So that's the part that I think would have been more significant, was when you see these guys, almost the ball carrier at a certain point is just being carried down the field because it's just all the momentum coming from behind him. But in terms of the tush push, I don't know that it's going to make a difference. The Eagles still run it at a very high rate. They're going to continue to run their quarterback sneak, even if they banned the pushing part of it. So, yeah, it's up to defenses to figure out, how do we stop this?
Man, have some kahunas, man. That's all I'm saying. The NFL, rest of the team has some kahunas, man.
Go ahead,
get in the gym.
I really don't care about the tush push, man. It doesn't matter, man. You just go to the store, right? You get Angel softener and you wipe it clean. That's all you do. If you're the defense,
Preach.
You do it and take it out. We don't care about no tush push. I don't care about the Eagles, But if it stays, you got to find a way to take care of it, right? Like, nobody can stop the Chiefs overpowering offense. The elite, powerful team, the speed with, so they had to make the two high safety, right? So they had, until you find something else that can stop somebody, you can always have a plan to come out. It's going to be a defensive coordinator that finds a way to stop it, and I think that's going to be the Buccaneers, because they got who? The 400 and some pound, the heaviest man that was in the draft.
Just like the Wildcat. Remember Miami Dolphins had the Wildcat. They didn't ban the Wildcat. So I'm like, you got to adjust.
No, I think the only reason that I think two things. I think Matt Derrick, who runs Chiefs Digest, spoke to Clark Hunt about it, I think last year. And he said the only way the rule is going to change is kind of what you guys said. Don't push the guy. He's 50 yards down the field, about to get in the end zone, and 2 or 3 offensive linemen or receivers push him in the end zone. That was one. They'd have to ban all pushing to get it done. Secondly, I think the biggest issue was when Chris Jones got hurt in the Super Bowl. I think that caused a lot of teams to be concerned. And 22 were, and they only needed 2 more votes to pass to ban it. Was it's the linemen, how they pitch their bodies to go into the helmet of the other player, or they go into the lower portion in their legs. And I think that's the issue that they had problems with. This will eventually be banned. It will be banned after this. Will probably be the last year. They'll get enough votes, I think, to do it. And I think there's some talk.
I think it's going to take the next a key player on defense to get hurt from this.
Yeah, if Chris Jones would have been hurt in the Super Bowl, not able to play, they would have passed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because he had to go sideways, to try and get penetration, and that's what the defensive line coaches and defensive coordinators have preached. You pinch your defensive ends and you have them go sideways to see if you can leverage with your shoulder and in your helmet. And Chris got hurt, and I don't know if the Chiefs still lose this game no matter what. But I think at the end of the day, this isn't a no fun league change. Celebrations in the end zone and some of the stuff that goes on, I get, and they want to clean it up, and it's a worldwide market now. But I think, generally speaking, I think the injury issue will be researched all season long, and I think next year it'll definitely pass.
Well, I think because they say there's a lack of data. I mean, the play really only gets run maybe 100 times a season.
I don't even think that much.
So, I mean, if you combine, like Buffalo is kind of doing it, their own version, and some other
Buffalo doesn't
teams
do it as good as the Eagles do.
Some other, well, nobody does. And I think that's the biggest part of this is that just their offensive line, just whether it's Jeff Stoutland and the training that they do and how they just get low man wins. And the other part of it is because, again, the defense is always at a disadvantage and all the rules kind of go against the defense. But if you know the snap count, which the offense does, or if you've got the threat of the hard count as well, where the defensive linemen are just kind of waiting for that ball to move,
right? That
split second, those guys get lower. It's going to be awfully difficult to stop them, along with the skill and just utter size with Mailata and Dickerson. I mean, they're just huge.
Yeah, they're big boys
on that side. They usually do run it behind those two dudes. So, yeah,
you better beef up front. That's all I'm saying.
Just the original rule of not being able to push guys in general, regardless of whether it's on a sneak or downfield. I think that's where the momentum is going to be, and whatever you call it, tush push or whatever, they're still going to do their quarterback sneak, and they're going to do it better than anyone. So
also I've seen some players talking about it during this offseason that the offensive linemen get like a 3-second start to lean over, and this should also be called a false start as well. You know what I mean? Yeah, offsides as well, but you don't give no defense no favor to get no head starts to even, because if you watch the play, go back. I heard one of the players say, and I forgot his name, but if you go back and watch the plays, you can see the offensive lineman is kind of inching the center, inching up a little bit before they start to hike the ball.
Yeah, that's one thing the refs don't really get that false start because it is very close, right? I mean, even though they know the snap count, they might be cheating a little bit as well. And if the refs let them get away with that, again, that puts the defense at a huge disadvantage because they're kind of like back on their heels, not knowing exactly, when it's coming. So if there was some way that you could say, all right, it has to be at the same time, which there's no way you could do that, but that would make it fair, right? If both teams kind of I think in rugby, they do that where it's just like the ball gets rolled out and both sides have an equal opportunity to hit at the same time. So anyway, there's just a lot of nuance to it, but at the end of the day, it's still in the rule. They're fine. Okay, you're allowed to push on your quarterback or running back, whoever has the ball. So you're going to continue to see it.
Yeah. Also, speaking of the rules, man, I know a lot of people saying the AFC West is going to be a powerhouse this offseason. Should the NFL change the playoff format, right? Because a lot of teams, I think the Lions was trying to get the format changed. I think it was like you can't just you got to have the best schedule, to get in there. You can't just I'm winning in my division, so I get the host a home game and something like that.
Yeah,
what you got about that?
Yeah, they tried to change the rule, and it would basically reseeded, after I guess the wild card round. If a home team has a lesser record than a wild card team, then the wild card team should get the home field advantage. The Lions ultimately withdrew that earlier this morning because they knew they weren't anywhere close to the votes, and I don't think that's anything that's going to be brought up again until they. Two things are going to happen. Roger Goodell is going to get a contract extension. So he's going to be around a little bit longer. They're going to discuss the 18-game schedule in the fall or winter meetings. Once that happens, then maybe you see a change in the playoff format. I hope, it's my goal, that in the new playoff format, if they go to 18 teams, they just eliminate the home field advantage of the bye week. Just let everybody play 3 games, and the best teams, the teams with the highest seeds, they basically have the home games. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You get 2 weeks off before the Super Bowl. And I think that's where the league ultimately could go. And you just get the best top seed for just get into the top 4 and try to be the number 1 seed. So you can have a home field advantage through the playoffs, but I wouldn't be shocked. So the playoff format isn't going to switch now, But listen, it also offers them an opportunity to sell another game to a streaming platform. And that's a real thing. You're already going to have at least 2 streaming games in the postseason this year. If the league can expand that to 3 and get a big payday, they're going to do it. So, Roger Goodell is no idiot. He's a money-making cash machine for the NFL owners. And so there was not enough momentum for this change the way it was done, but don't rule it out in the future. At least that's my opinion.
The reseeding, I wouldn't have that much of a problem with. It's, I guess, initially the way it was written is where you might have like a division champion not hosting a game.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's where the owners would have pushback, because no matter who you are, there's only 4 teams in the division. So every year you have kind of a 1 out of 4 chance of hosting a playoff game. So now all of a sudden, if you just go by record and you seed them that way, again, it wasn't a big change. I think last year in the AFC, the only thing would have flipped were the Chargers and the Texans. But you had in the NFC where I think Minnesota was 14-3.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to go on the road to play the Rams, who had a different record. Yeah. But then it got moved to Arizona because of the fire. So it kind of shot all that to crap. But there's only been a few instances where you've had a division winner with such a poor record that it looks like, is this really one of the best teams? Should this team really be in the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it happens enough for it to be that way. The format seems to work. Right. I mean, it seems, I don't know that the ratings are down or there's this big public outcry for it. They've talked about it a lot in other sports, and all the other sports kind of push back on it. So, I think that this is going to take a little bit more. And then then you got to change how you schedule as well. If that's the case, are you going to continue to play your division game, 2, home and home against the division?
Mm-hmm.
Are you just going to play, say, 15 games in your conference, and then you play 2 in the opposite conference to make the 17 games, to make it more of a fair thing that everybody plays everyone, like in the old college format, like some of the conferences,
right.
you'd play everybody.
Yeah.
So then it was a true champion. So there's a lot of different layers to it, but at the end of the day, they're, like Nick said, I mean, this is just a cash making. I mean, it's just like the golden goose, right? But I think there's a number out there, and I think they're trying to get to $25 billion in revenue a year.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Roger is going to do anything he can,
especially with a new contract,
to get to that number. So when you see like these teams kind of pushing these changes, something tells me their arm might be twisted a little bit by somebody, high up in the league.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Nick and Lou. I mean, like I said, it's NFL is all about the money. They all about the ratings, all about the money. So we'll see. We'll see how it plans out, but again, it's all about the money. It's all about the ratings. So
I'm with you, King Mo. But I think maybe that is like the one instance that everybody brings up, but it is one instance.
Yeah,
and the Saints lost that game.
Yeah, there you go. They did.
I had to go right. I have to say this. I don't care if you I have to, if I'm changing the rules of the playoffs. Yeah, I know you got to represent every division, everything else of that. But if you ain't got a above 500 record and you just 8-8, you know what I mean, or you just sit there 500,
7-8, yeah.
Yeah, if you sit there 500, I don't think you should make the playoffs. So I don't think it's fair that like you got to award a division that has every team in there that's probably 10 and or 15 and something, and they have a good record in every other division. You let those teams go in and battle it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The best teams have the best records go battle out. No matter what your conference is, what's your division, but it still have to battle on the NFC and the AFC side. But If I'm really wanting to change it, that's what I would do. You know what I mean? And also they'll give you the NFL. You talking about money, cash cow thing. But hey, if you got all these teams winning and nobody like nothing better than winners, right? Like if Joe Burrow and them had a good record last year and they was winning, you don't think the Broncos? It should have been, oh, you did this, or you got to beat that team. If your record is better than the Broncos, or your record is better than this team, I think you should oversee it. You know what I mean? No matter what division you win.
And that argument holds water if you played an equal schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So this particular season, the NFC North, I think they played both South divisions, which are perennially, at least, in the recent past, not as great a competition. Right. So they their records blew up last year. But now all of a sudden, if you want to do that, Hense, I think that's when you'd have to say, okay, fine, we're going to do that. But now we're going to change the schedule. You will play every team in your conference once. You'll play 2 from the other conference. And then that would be fair, so that if your record wasn't up to snuff in the division, then okay, you just don't make it.
Yeah, the only problem with that is
you also have sorry, Nick, but you also, I'm trying to ask Nick, Lou, go back to feedback on what Lou said. You also have people that some teams that have an easier schedule and still go in at 500 and make the playoffs, and they want it done and out. You're right. They look like they should have been on TV. Right. Look like they should have been there.
That's after the fact and hindsight. The result, but going into it to make it fair for everybody, you would have to do that. But now all of a sudden you're not playing your own division twice. Then you don't even you don't really need divisions anymore. And I think a lot of sports have kind of done that. And we've seen it in the college game where you don't even play everybody in your own conference, and like some years you play 2. I mean, it just gets really convoluted. I mean, to me, it works really well. There's only been a few instances where that has happened, where you've had a team sub 500 win a division. It's maybe twice in my lifetime,
I think, or 500. And obviously now with the schedule being 17 games, if you're an 8-9 team, I agree with Hense. If you're an 8-9, if you're sub 500, that means 2 things. One, you couldn't get over the 500 mark in your division, obviously sucked. And I see Lou's point was saying, well, it's not fair because, they played a weaker division versus the Chiefs or another team that maybe played a better division. But the problem is that the NFL is not going to upset the interconference games. They're way too popular. That's why they added a 5th.
Right.
It could be when they go to 18 games, they add a 6th because it's really popular. It's high ratings. And those are usually some of the better games to give you a prelude of what could be in the Super Bowl. But if you're a sub 500 team, then I could see the case for the best team, the wild card team with the best record. If it's greater than 8 wins, I could see the owners agreeing to something like that. Let's not, if you can't be above 500 and win your division, you're not going to get a home game.
Plain and simple.
And I have no problem with that. I think that would be an excellent solution to.
And also when you get to the Super Bowl, man, make it a world event, right? It's the best out of 3. Right, your best out of 3, not just you get there, your one out of game. It's best.
Don't even think about that.
Let me say this.
No, I don't. I think it'd be great.
I know everybody.
Take a month off.
I know everybody gonna say, "Oh, what? Patrick Mahomes gonna play 3 games?" No, that's when you have your backups. That's why you have a vest into a backup quarterback. That's why you vest into a backup running back.
$25,000 a seat for a low level ticket.
I'm just saying, like, you go back and forth. You know what I mean? The 3 game best out of 3 win. No
one would go to the first game. Nobody would go.
Hell nah, bro. Stadium. You gonna lose so much damn money doing that shit, bro. You know how much them tickets cost, bro. You gonna lose so much money.
I don't think you'd lose money.
What I said is this: you had the first one at the other team's home field. Then you had the other one at the other team home, and then the third one is at a random city, and that city it's a war tour. It's a war tour of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think the beauty of the NFL is the one and done. And that's why like the NCAA tournament is so popular, that it isn't like this drawn out series or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, I guess that would be one way to look at it, but I think everything works pretty well right now. It's just the league hasn't been.
It's more drama.
It just
like
gets more
game.
popular every year. They add more fans all over the globe every year. So I mean, I guess it's fun to talk about and see how they could do things. But usually these leagues that try this thing, I mean, look at baseball. I mean, they added all these other series. I mean, I remember back in the day, each like AL, NL, there was 2 divisions, right? The division winners would play, and that was it. Not all these wild cards and everything else. And then they added more divisions, and then they started adding all the interleague play. And now it's to a point where interleague play is almost as important as the other. I mean, it's just nuts. And the NFL has a good thing going. Messing it up, I think, trying all these different things, I don't think really is going to be helpful.
Okay. Before we get into the next question, go and get into one of these questions. If it's on this topic. If it's not on the topic, we'll go on to the next thing.
Wow. Okay.
I think
Sorry, man. Jordan asked about who you think how the wide receiver room is going to look. We talked about this a couple of shows ago. I mean, it's clear, who your top 3 are, providing, you get Rashee Rice, Worthy, Hollywood Brown. And then it's a matter of, how well the young kid from Utah State can assimilate the offense. I'm going blank today, guys. Come on, wake up. Is Nico Remigio going to step out of the shadow? You got Juju Smith-Schuster. I think when all these guys are on the field, I think this is one of the best wide receiver rooms. With Xavier Worthy, Rice, and Hollywood Brown. If they're all 3 healthy, lights out. They're going to be very difficult to stop. But Jalen Royals, is he going to be that guy who can step up? I've heard a lot of experts talk about him lately, and they were really excited about him, and they don't really put a lot of stock in the fact that his competition level was low and that he wasn't 100% last year because he had that foot injury. But, a lot of people looking at the 23 tape, and I think we've all seen all the highlights from 2023. He was one of the best, yak wide receivers in college football. So I don't think it's going to be a surprise. The kid out of what is it? Badger? Is that the kid out of
Elijah
Florida?
Badger from Florida?
Yeah, I think he's got it. I think he's got a chance to be number 6. I really do. I like his game a lot too. So he would definitely be a guy that would be great. Kareem, I love this idea. Let's do a midseason tournament too. That's the way the NFL All-Star game used to be. It used to be in the middle of the season.
Okay,
I would love that. I think it'd be great.
Kareem's got tongue planted firmly in cheek, I believe, in this.
Oh my God, wouldn't that be great? You take everybody gets a 3-week bye.
As far as the wide receiver room goes,
you do a Pro Bowl. You do a Pro Bowl game, flag football, to get them ready for the 2028 Olympics, which are going to be
two potential surprises in the wide receiver room. Is one that Juju doesn't make the team. 2, Sky Moore makes the team. I think those would be your 2 potential surprises. Everything else, I think, barring any like weird injury, any we have a looming suspension, but we'll see. There hasn't been any real momentum in that direction, so you have to believe that Rashee's going to be available. So yeah, I think that's basically it. So with those would be the 2 surprises.
Yeah.
Speaking of wide receiver, is Trent McDuffie a top 5 cornerback? Pro Football Focus put that out there.
Yeah, put him out today. Put him in the top 5, and I think we've talked about him a lot. And it's not his contract year, but it's his before the contract year where he's got an opportunity to strike a bag of riches from the Kansas City Chiefs. And I would assume, even though they have not had a history of signing cornerbacks in their history, and I'm talking even going way back to the Carl Peterson days, they just kind of regurgitated cornerbacks, but I don't think he's one you can regurgitate. I think they have to sign him to a long-term deal. Is he a top 5? I think so. Part of me is like, when he plays outside, he's not as effective as he plays in the slot. So he won his AP All-Pro status as a slot cornerback. Now, cornerback is cornerback, so you should be able to play both adequately well. I think he's a better slot guy than he is an outside guy. I think that's why, they drafted Noel because, and they've got Watson. They've got those guys who can play outside, and McDuffie can rotate inside against, usually some of the better receivers that he's going to go up against, and that's where he excels. So, yes, as a slot corner, I give him number one. As an overall top corner in the league, I would be hard-pressed to come up with four other guys, or five other guys that would be better than him to not keep him in the top five.
I'm gonna definitely say he's not, like, for a slot position, yes, he's outstanding. On the outside, no, he probably like top 10 on the outside. Because we've seen what happened to him with Sutton, when Holland is going, when you go A.J. Brown, them type of caliber number one receivers, he doesn't do well against those type of guys.
They didn't have that many much yards.
In the slot area, he's exceptional. He's phenomenal in the slot, but on the outside, nah.
Man,
he doesn't get busy. He doesn't get busy with them 6'2", 6'1" guys, bro. He don't get busy, man. He don't.
I'll put it like this: top five guys. I think he probably number one because think of the guys. Did anybody have 100+ game against McDuffie? No, because you can't even put that on paper and say so.
Did you say 100+ or big plays on McDuffie? That's the real question. Big plays against McDuffie. Absolutely.
You're gonna get big plays. You're gonna give up a big play. That's
did he stop A.J. Brown in the Super Bowl?
They favor the offense much more, right? They favor the offense much more and everything else with the push offs and everything else. Throwing players off of them when they cover sideline to sideline. But again, if it's for me, but Duffy's he is the top five. He's not the top five. He's number one. I feel like he's better. I feel like he's better than any cornerback that's out there to me. Put on the deuces and the Kid Rock. He's tough. He can tackle. Hey, you see what he did to Tyreek Hill? You see what he did to Tyreek Hill? You see what he did to the other guys out there that when he went up against McDuffie, in my eyes, with these glasses, I think he's top number, not even top five. He's number one.
His best game was against Chase. I give him that. His best game was against Chase.
All of his best games were against Chase.
He had Jamar Chase that was terrorizing everybody. He had him crying on the sideline. Him and Joe Burrow about to start arguing in the locker room. Hey, I didn't even see Jamar Chase get on the bus with the team because he was so hot. He walked all the way back to Tuna Town in Cincinnati.
What happened with Sutton? What happened with Sutton from Denver? Sutton
to get up. He didn't get up.
He smoked him. That's what happened. He smoked him. That's what happened.
What you had to say? What you had to say, Lou? What you got to say, Lou?
I don't know if I can follow all that. I mean, that was a lot of that was a big word salad. I'll give you that. If Trent's a very, very unique case because he comes in as an outside corner. They ask him to play the slot, plays the slot for the first time in his life, and he's an all-pro at it. Right. You're going to make your money on the outside. So, I mean, if you put both skills together, I think, he definitely is a top five because not just any man. I would disagree with you, Nick, that it's a totally different position. You've got, if you're playing on the inside, I'm not saying that all the slot guys are smaller, but you are against smaller dudes that are closer to his height. And if there's one thing he struggles with, and as much as I love Cuffs, it's the ball over his head. And again, I mean, he's 5'10". And if you get these bigger receivers, that's kind of, problematic. Now, it's not every time. It's not automatic that they're going to hit those on him, but there have been a few. But in terms of if you put all the skills together, a guy that can play inside and out, he's in a very small group, right? There's not many people that can do that at that high level. So I got to believe he is there. I think, when you're talking about, a new contract beyond the rookie deal, he is eligible for that now. They drafted Noel Williams. And here's what I would say, Nick, where we've seen historically, they don't give the corners a second contract, is that this is almost as much to do with Jalen Watson and Noel Williams than it has to do with cuffs, whether he gets an extension or not. And then the other piece is whether they pay him as an outside corner versus inside. What did the kid from LSU plays for Houston? Name escapes me right now, but he's like $30 million.
Stingley.
Yeah, he got $30 million.
Derek Stingley
Jr.
Mm-hmm. And then you've got, I think,
Horn.
Kyler Gordon, which is T. Cuffs' ex-college teammate from Washington. Mm-hmm. He's the highest paid inside corner, and I believe he's at around 13 or 14 million per over over 3 years. So that's a big difference. And that's, I think, going to be a huge negotiating point between Veach and his agent and what really he is and what he excels at. Mm-hmm. And that conversation can get really personal really fast. So it's going to be really interesting to look at. But I do believe Noel Williams balls out this year.
Mm-hmm.
They may kind of take that as kind of like, okay, Trent, here's what we'll offer you. You don't like it, okay.
But the other guys, you know what I mean, that you mentioned, Stingley, even the guy from the
Panthers.
Even the guy Horn for the Panthers, the guy from the Falcons. What's his name? What's the guy from the Falcons' name? I can't his name. Cornerback for Terrell, wherever his name is.
AJ Terrell.
Yeah, all those guys don't have 2 rings like McDuffie. So hey, if
rings matter.
I got the rings, I got the Pro Bowl. All I know is, all I've been in championships. Snead left. I still was the number 1 corner on the team. Everybody says Snead. I shut down the best wide receiver this last year in Chase that everybody couldn't stop because Jamar Chase was on the case. He was out there terrorizing everybody else. But since he came on my side of the ball, you see what I had him doing. I had him crying back to the huddle.
Safety over the top. It's
going to be Kareem had a good question. Would they consider playing Noel at safety with his ball skills facing the field? He'd be deadly. I have no problem with it, but I think they're going to try him at outside corner.
If you can play corner in this league, that's where he's going to play.
Yeah, that's where the money's at.
I think they like where they're at with their safeties. And again, it's dependent on some of the guys that are here. You know, does Shamari Connor up his game, in camp? Does Nazi do they reposition him to where I think he would be best suited, playing in a safety role? So
you got Fulton
I think
too.
Williams is this is a test case, at least in my opinion. That's the way I see it, is that this is kind of an audition. Is he good enough to take over for T. Cuffs? And if he is, that's a much cheaper option for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
So with that said, let's get into this last question. This was a Nick's question. I know it was. Does it matter?
They're all Nick questions.
Yeah, I know they all your questions. What state that the Chiefs choose to play in the new dome, or something around there?
All right, so let me start the process here. We're going to probably do more of a detailed show on this here in the coming weeks. But the Missouri legislation did not pass the bill to fund stadiums for both the Chiefs and the Royals. Right now, it's going to have to be Governor Keogh doing a special session because everybody's leaving for the Memorial Day break. So they have to do a special session. If not, it goes to the vote to the taxpayers in August if they can get it on the voting block, which is going to be tough. The Kansas City Royals and the Kansas City Chiefs are going to make their decisions by no later than the end of June, probably sooner, as to where they're going to play. So for the Chiefs right now, they have an oh my God offer from Wyandotte County, from the state of Kansas, to put a new dome facility with a whole lot of infrastructure, a hotel, casino, restaurants, apartments, a practice facility, potentially a brand new dome stadium that's going to host a Super Bowl. The NFL has already said to the Chiefs, I believe, that if you build a dome, we'll put you in one of the winter Super Bowl rotations for a Super Bowl. This will give them a chance to get the Final Four in Kansas City. This will give them a chance to maybe get the NFL Combines for a couple of years. The Royals are looking at Clay County up north. It's a strong possibility. They have put together some funding. The Royals situation is a lot different because they're using a lot of their own money. So I guess for the Chiefs, does it really matter? Because to me, I could care less if they're in Kansas City, Missouri, Clay County, North Kansas City, Grandview, Belton. I don't care. Or Kansas City, Kansas. It makes no difference. I love the aura of Arrowhead. I have been there. I have spent my childhood there. I was there for the very first game with my father, and it's a memory that I share very deep in my heart. But the Patrick Mahomes era only happens once in a lifetime, and if you don't build a cathedral to represent what he is for this franchise and still could be for the franchise, you build a dome stadium. If Kansas is the place, go do it. But for me, I could care less where it is. I just want them to play in a better facility, a more modern facility. At some point, the brick and mortar of Arrowhead is going to crumble. You can't just keep adding to it. So my take is, and everybody knows this, I think they're going to go to Kansas.
How does Lambeau Field hold up? It's even older.
Well, but they don't have a lot of the overall infrastructure of on top like the Chiefs do.
Yeah.
And again, old good brick is old good brick. Old good cement is good. And I'm with you. Yeah. The aura of it all, but they still got bleacher seats for Christ's sake. So, when you not a lot of stress on that stadium.
Have you ever seen Lambeau? It's mostly bleacher seats.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And bleacher seats are less weight. Listen, I don't know how they've kept it together. All I know is, Mark Donovan, the president, indicated there's something about, bad cement. And I think the Royals have faced that more than anybody, more so than the Chiefs.
I mean, if there's safety issues, you can't, there's not a whole lot.
The Royals have to move. There's no question. That stadium is falling apart.
Yeah. I just don't. Now, maybe it's me. I don't have to sit out there, whatever, during cold weather games. I'm just not a big fan of domes. It's for football. It just seems like
open the damn roof in the winter. Who cares?
It's an outdoor game.
Yeah.
So that would be my only pushback. And I don't have really a dog in the hunt. I very far removed from the situation. So the nostalgia of Arrowhead is awesome, and
it's magical.
There's really nothing. There's really, even on TV, there's nothing like it. I mean, it just looks different. It looks more. It just seems like you're closer, right? Even on the TV product. So, but yeah, I just did it. If they have a retractable type situation going, okay, maybe. But real grass outside, let's go.
Yeah. Well, it'll be real grass. Go ahead, Vince.
I know Nick said something about the the Super Bowl, whatever. A chance to get a winner Super Bowl. I don't think the NFL. I know they said we talked about the rule changes and this and that. I don't think the NFL is not going to go since the New York one. I don't think they're going to go back to that.
But that was outside. It was also 40 degrees for that game too, so it was reasonable.
Really lucky with the weather there.
Yeah, they got lucky.
We're lucky with the weather. I don't see the NFL going back to a cold city, and it ain't going to be good for ticket sales. Not even for the city itself and traveling and everything else.
What are you talking about? It's the heart of the country.
I'm just saying, like a lot of fans is not going to want to come nowhere and say, I'm going to go walk around the cold to go. I want to be on, see what I think it's going to be a warmer weather stadium. But again, speaking of them moving to Kansas or Missouri, hey, like my grandpa would like to say, it's Cracker Jack in the box, right? You get caramel on it, you don't know what, it's still popcorn. It doesn't matter. It's still football wherever it's at. But I feel like they would still stay in Kansas City. You don't mess with the structure of the old school car, right? That's why you see the old school 1960 cars going around. You get surprised. You be like, oh my God, look at that foundation on that old school car, right? But you go ahead and look at the stadiums, you be like, hey, it's the same thing. Lights and gadgets, It's the same thing. It's the same thing. But the cars these days don't look the same. The classic cars back in the day. That's why this is classics, right? That's why I would say that if I'm the Chiefs, I'm staying in the stadium where it's at. But again, hey, put a dome over it if you want a dome. It is
Maybe
what
they should move to Utah.
Yeah, I think Green Bay and Kansas City are the only two cities that haven't had a new stadium in the last 10 years. I mean, even going back that short amount of time.
The Titans are getting their second stadium. The Falcons are getting their third.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's just like it's great. What is it? Public funding, private business. It is pretty awesome.
Big 12 football championship can be played in Kansas City with a dome.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, concerts, mud and tractor pulls.
Oh yeah, the money aspect of
it's
it, I think is a no-brainer. I think I mentioned it a few months ago. This could be like a legacy move also for Clark to kind of put his stamp on the Chiefs moving forward, whether for his daughter or hell for Trent Green's son now, I guess. I don't know. But no, I think that's, if it is a business deal, I don't think there's any question with what they've laid out in Kansas is just like a sweetheart deal. You're not going to get anything.
Oh, I don't think it's going to be, I think it's almost free.
To stay in the area, keep your fan base for the most part and get all that stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Chiefs and the Royals are not going to another state.
The Godfather offer.
Yeah. They got to take the best financial offer. I think their hearts are always going to remain in Missouri if it can work out. But, you know, the state legislation, the mayor's office, you know, they had a mayor change last election. And I think, you know, when Parsons was out and Keogh came in, I mean, there's a lot, you know, listen, the politicalization of all of this has been a detriment to both the Chiefs and the Royals. The Frank White situation, you know, with the stadium vote. And then you look at the change in Congress. And then you look at the fact that, hey, do we cater to Kansas City or do we cater to St. Louis? The bottom line for me is if Missouri doesn't get off their tailbone here in the next couple of weeks, they're going to lose their third NFL franchise in the state. The Cardinals, the Rams, and then the Chiefs. Maybe they can salvage a deal with the Royals, but again, the Royals aren't asking for as much money as the Chiefs are, and you know they want they want a different infrastructure. They want to build a city, you know, connected to that stadium, and the Legends area has plenty of room. They got plenty of space. The land options run out at the end of June. The Star Bonds run out at the end of June. So a decision's going to be made in the next 41 days. To where the Chiefs and the Royals are going to be, you know, having a little party and you know, shoveling the first part of dirt out at where their new stadiums are going to go.
Wherever it happens, man. But speaking of the stadiums, we got the preseason going to be coming up pretty soon, August the 19th at 6 p.m. at the Cardinals. We take on the midget team. And hey, and then week 2, man, we're going out at August 15, 9 p.m. at Seattle. Home game week 3, August 22nd at 7:30 p.m. versus the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, all games will be on Channel 41 and the local affiliates in the area.
Yeah, so man gonna want me to throw that in there. So with that said, guys, hey, great show. I think Dre is having a technical difficulties. I think his headphones went out. I don't think he can hear us right now.
Nolan is coming. That's what.
There you go.
Nolan is coming. Yeah.
All right. Last word, Andre. What do you say?
Go Cardinals.
That's right.
So with that said, man, we got a heck of a show lined up for Friday, and Factor Cap. Lou got stuff planned for us as well. So with that said, guys, I thank all the new guys that came in today. Thank you guys for sharing everything, and thank you guys for commenting. And we can't do this without you guys, man. Hey, go ahead and get some of these questions before we close out. I want to get the guys some love before we close out.
Let's see. I know this is a Chiefs podcast, but what do you think about the Bills getting Hard Knocks? I don't think they're very happy. I don't think Sean McDermott's got a guy who's going to want cameras everywhere, and their general manager. I think that'd be tough.
Yeah, I think in season is going to be NFC East.
Yeah,
so that should be kind of interesting with the whole situation happening in New York and how the last time they were on Hard Knocks, how that kind of went. And then just Jaden Daniels, maybe we'll get a behind the scenes look at his virtual reality training. Carl Pickens and CD, the Eagles should be good.
Yeah, no, definitely. All right, before we go, one more time, Underdog Fantasy, you want to play the game, just hit the QR code in the bottom right screen, goes right to our page, put in the promo code Chiefs Blitz, deposit $5, you get 50 in bonus dollars, play that $5, and I will send you one of my personal collectibles, one of my cards that's going to be a value greater than that $5. So Let's do that. Let's get that done. Let's see how many subscriptions we can get between now. I'll do it between now and the end of the month. All right. So let's make sure we get that done. All you got to do is let us know that you've done it. Either post an instant message or send us chiefsblitzkc@gmail.com, and we'll put you in the contest. All right.
All right, Stanley. Yeah.
What's that?
All eyes on us.
All eyes on us. Thanks, Stanley. We appreciate you being part of the crew, part of one of the Blitzers.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Let's do it. Kareem, last thing. It's not clamps, it's cuffs. So cuffs. Kareem, come on.
Same thing. Clamps, cuffs, it all works.